Check 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Check 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Shifting Focus. The time has finally arrived. It's been a long time coming, but we are here. The brand new chapter. I'm really excited about Shifting Focus. I'm really excited that you're here. If you're just joining for the first time, thank you so much. To those that are here from the How to Film Weddings world, if you've been with me for a while, we just wrapped up an incredible, almost 8-year chapter, 400 plus episodes of the How to Film Weddings podcast. Last week was bittersweet. So many messages. I just remember choking up so many different times, about to choke up right now, just as that was such a big part of my life for so long. I'm really excited to look back at How to Film Weddings, and I'm just so proud of it. And I'm honestly just so excited to be shifting my focus and moving forward. I'm just thankful. And, this to me, I want to have an episode, this intro episode of Shifting Focus, to kind of explain where I'm heading, what I'm doing, and get you excited or not excited about what I'm doing next. I've had thousands of you that listen that have been with me for a long time, and I just want to say the John Bunn that you know is not going anywhere or changing. A lot of the content, the vibe, the feel will be similar to How to Film Weddings, but I have shifted my focus. And over the 20-year career that I have now, I've learned that I am only as powerful as what I'm focusing on. And if I don't stay focused and committed to doing the right things, doing the right work, I'm never going to get the traction that I need. And so this isn't just a continuation of How to Film Weddings, but this is a new chapter for me. This is a new, I know who I am as a creator. I know who I am as a business owner better than I did in 2018. And, I love Nick Miller. He's one of my best good buddies, and I want nothing but the best for Nick. But I knew a couple of years ago it was time for me to do this on my own. And as we said in the final episode of How to Film Weddings, we are still friends. We're still doing a lot of stuff with each other, and I'm still going to be heavily involved in the wedding videography world. I'm still a wedding filmmaker. But I just knew it was time for me to do this on my own and to expand what I'm offering to the wedding industry. And I feel like with How to Film Weddings, we did a really great job of 400 plus episodes of consistent, helpful content that has changed the lives of so many. And what I want to do with Shifting Focus is I really want to dig even further into the things that I've been doing on my business and what I've been doing to build multi-six-figure businesses, yes, and make good money, yes. But about 5 years ago, I really started to focus in on the things that I wanted to do in my life, not what I saw other people on the internet doing. And I think that it's really important for you, the listener, to know what you're focused on, to know where you're going, to know why you're going the direction you're going, and not just trying to be like John Bunn or trying to be like whoever it is that you follow. And I really want to help you to see that if you don't have to do everything, you can't do everything, but if you focus on the right things, I think that we can help you. I can help you to really, the goal for me is to help you make more money. I want you to make more money by listening to this. I want you to work with more of the clients that you really want to work with. So you're happy to be doing the work. And then I want you to create work that your soul absolutely strives to create, to be a creative and a business owner. And I've been talking about it a lot lately with some of the podcasts I've been recording that'll be coming up in the next few weeks. But there's this tension between being a creative and being a business owner. And you can't just be really creative or really good at business. You got to be somewhere in the middle there. And a lot of us are naturally more artistic or more creative than we are at business. And so I want to, be a myth buster. I want to bust the myth that you have to be a crazy good business person in order to make a lot of money. And I also want to bust the myth that you have to be the most creative person to create work that you absolutely love. And I want to show you that if you do these things, you can work with your dream clients. As I sit here in August of 2025, I have 23 weddings booked this year, around $300,000 of bookings with those weddings. I added photo this year. I have 9 photo weddings. I've done about 50 photo sessions. I'm doing bridal portrait sessions and couples and families and just exploring the world of photography. I've also shot about 600 video weddings at this point, and I've worked with about 500 wedding photographers. And I think that that's interesting because a lot of people that are listening to this or will be tuning in, maybe you're a photographer, you haven't had the ability to work with that many photographers because you are a photographer. And so for me, I have this unique spot where I now know so many people and have interviewed so many people that do wedding filmmaking. And I've worked with so many people that do photography. And I've traveled all over the world doing it. And so I can see things that maybe you can't see. And I want to show you what I'm doing. And this year, I've pushed past 6 figures in my very first year of doing photography. I'm booking $10,000 plus photo weddings already and $20,000 plus video weddings. And so some of these weddings that I'm doing video and photo for are pushing past $30,000. And when I started in 2018 podcasting, my first episode was how I built a $5,000 business, or how I'm filming $5,000 weddings. I was okay in that middle market making $5,000, but I shifted my focus and I got laser focused on who I was serving and why. And everything changed. It took some time, but that's what I want to show you. I want to show you. And as I started talking to more people, more photographers, more planners, more florists, and as I added photography into my own brand, I realized these things that I'm doing aren't just for wedding filmmakers. And I almost felt a burden to share these tools with the rest of the industry. As I speak at different places and I'm on different panels and I'm in front of the wedding industry a lot more these days, I am able to kind of see and hear questions from people. I was at an event the other day and I had a lot of planners coming up to me asking me questions if they would be able to be mentored by me. A lot of photographers and florists. And I just realized I want this content to be for the wedding industry. That's what I've done for almost 20 years. And that's the kind of the content that I want to produce. I will mainly be talking from the perspective of a videographer and photographer now, but I want to interview more wedding planners that I've become friends with and other wedding photographers. And that's what I'm going to do on this show. And I'm not going to stop interviewing wedding filmmakers. So How to Film Weddings, the podcast before this one, was solely for wedding filmmakers. And I have a lot of different questions I want to ask to some of the guests that have been on before. But I'm going to be interviewing a lot more people. And really, my goal is to see what they have focused on in order to be successful in their brand. And so, I really want to lean into that in this podcast. And so I want to talk real quick about why I'm calling it shifting focus. The phrase came from something, you've seen over and over: talented creatives stuck because they're focused on the wrong things. We obsess over gear and reels and viral moments, and we ignore the deeper work, the branding, the messaging, the pricing, and your mindset. And I want to help you to shift that focus and realize that those things matter just as much, if not more, than your creativity. For me, focus meant clarity, knowing where you're going and cutting out what doesn't help. And not spinning your wheels thinking you've got to do everything. You need clarity in your brand. Focus is subtraction, saying no to good things to say yes to what actually moves the needle for you. Maybe your business doesn't need Pinterest right now. Maybe your business needs to solely focus on Instagram or whatever, but we need to help you find what your focus should be, because you can't do everything at a high quality. You need to focus on 1, maybe 2 things at a time to do, and then you will grow in your business. Focus is power. When you're locked in on the right things, you show up differently and results follow. So this show is about helping you get clear, get confident, and grow a business that's built to last. Before we move on, I do want to talk real quick about some of my sponsors that have moved over with me to the Shifting Focus podcast. The first one I want to mention today is brideandgroom.video. Man, I'm so in love with the edits that brideandgroom.video is doing for me, and they've started doing a lot of my video edits. And honestly, their communication has been amazing. Their editors have been great. I've had lots of changes on some of the first few videos, and they've been amazing at changing them and working alongside me to edit my wedding film. So I want to give a big shout out to my friends over at brideandgroom.video. So I want to also talk about the real impact of focus in our businesses. I want to talk about whenever I switched over to John Bunn Films in 2021. And I was Redeemed Productions. That was my brand name for the longest time. And in 21, I had finished a rebrand and moved over to John Bunn Films. And it might sound simple, and it's like, well, your name's John Bunn. But my mindset completely shifted on who I was aiming at. And I shifted my focus to solely focus on my ideal avatar. I worked with my good friend Sam Jacobson and his team over at ID Action, and they helped me build a brand avatar. And what we learned about who I want to work with, because I determined who I wanted to work with, is that we determined the exact kind of bride that I want to work with. And we also realized that my market is not only the bride, but her mother. And the kinds of clientele that really work with John Bunn Films are affluent brides and their affluent mothers. And there's different things about these people. But as I got more focused on who that was, I was able to really lean in and say, this is who I'm aiming at. We even put names on these ideal avatars, and we put pictures of what they look like and where they went to school and their vocation and how much money they make and all these different things, so I could get a really clear and focused picture on who it is that I wanted to serve. And in this podcast, I want to show you how I did that. I want to show you how important it is for you to focus on things that actually matter, because I don't know about you, whenever I have stuff I need to do, somehow distracting things that I want to do somehow show up. Maybe I'm needing to edit that photo gallery, but what do you know? I'm going to update my website today, even though that wasn't on my list and that wasn't on anything that I was focused on for the day, but now I'm spending 3 hours wasting time over there. Or I'm not networking at all, or I'm not doing social media at all because I'm over here just editing films or editing photos all day long and never put time on my calendar to work on my business instead of just in my business. And so that's a big portion of what I want to help you see. And I want to ask other creatives what they're doing. And so, as we're talking about what you can expect from this show, to me, it's going to grow. It's going to change. I'm committed to weekly episodes, and I'm committed to interviewing some of the best, if not the best, photographers, videographers, planners, and other wedding creatives in the industry. But within each episode, I'm wanting to dig in with each person, and I want to hear what they're focusing on or what they thought they should focus on and they shouldn't have been. And I've already done a handful of interviews that I'm really excited to put out. Next week, I'm going to have Miles Witt Boyer on the podcast. He's a photographer and become a good friend of mine. He's based in Arkansas. And man, the conversation we had about what we're focusing on, as he's built a multi-six-figure business as well, it blew my mind by rephrasing some of these questions I've been asking for years and digging more into the focus, why we're focusing on that, and going one level deeper and just really understanding our relationships with money, our relationships with business, our relationships with people, and how that affects us when we're selling, when we're creating. And what is really cool about this Shifting Focus podcast is it also opened the door for me, as I've interviewed a handful of people already, to dig into their creativity and how they stay creative. So the creativity side of what we do is not going to be forgotten on this podcast. To me, I look at it as a How to Film Weddings 2.0, where we're leaning into the entire industry and we're focusing more on the things that matter and not just the sizzle reel things. And if you want to be in business and sustain a business, and if you want to build at least six-figure business, I want to show you how to do it. And I'm going to be rolling out a lot of different things in this podcast. And so if you're here, whether you followed me from How to Film Weddings or if you're just finding me, I really want to say thank you. It's called Shifting Focus for a reason. And I believe that if you can shift your focus, you can change your life. I really do. I started in 2021 with the new brand, John Bunn Films, the new avatar. Peyton was the bride's name, Cindy was the mom's name. And with that clarity, it helped me tremendously. It helped me to say, this social media post would not be attractive to Peyton, so I'm not going to post it. Or the imagery on the site doesn't make sense to that kind of buyer type. Or the email signature doesn't feel fancy enough, or the way that I gift a bride after they booked me, or whatever it is, everything was blurry, and then it came into focus. And whenever you can find that for you and your brand, when you have those aha moments, that's when you take ground. And that's what I want to show you how to do. I want to show you how to take ground in your business. And the truth is, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need a huge following. You just need to focus on the right things and do them one day at a time. Just one day at a time, and you'll look back and you're like, whoa, I've come a long way. And that's the point. I want you to enjoy the journey of running your business. I'm tired of sales being a cuss word in our industry. I'm tired of people that do sales poorly or try to take advantage of people. And I have built a business over the last 2 decades by being morally upheld. I'm upholding all my morals. I'm not cheating people. I'm not a crook. I'm always trying to give people the best value for the best dollar. But I also have put a high value on what I do. And I want you to get out of your own head, because I think a lot of times we just need the encouragement to get out of our own head, to say, I can charge that. I am worth more than this. I am better than what I'm charging. I'm confident enough. And I want to give you the tools to see that you should raise your prices, or to see that you should stay the same with your prices. I want to give you the tools to network with people. I want to give you the tools on how to get published. I want to give you the tools on how to get booked. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this podcast. And I can't tell you how excited I am to do this. It feels like the network gave me my own show and I can kind of do whatever I want. And I know that, with How to Film Weddings, it was me and Nick, and we could do whatever we wanted as well. But there's just something about this change for me that's just gotten me fired up. And as I made the change into John Bunn Films, I noticed myself raising my prices and booking more people and finding new areas that I was lacking. About 2 years ago, I realized my networking was just really bad, and talked to some friends that were doing a really good job networking. And I committed to do one networking event a month here in Oklahoma. And I'll tell you this, it has paid off multi-six figures in the last 2 years by just being a networker. That was a huge thing that I was missing out on. And I think all of us can either be working on one area of our business or another. And I want to shine the light on those things so you don't get comfortable, because comfort is the enemy of success. It really is. And I want to show you tools so you can focus on the right things. So that's the idea for the podcast. And I want to leave with an analogy about fitness. And I'm going to do this a lot, I think so, in this podcast. But if you're wanting to get in shape, that's a great thing to want. And most people want to be in better shape. But most people are overweight and most people are not in good shape. And I ask you, why is that? Their intention is good, but they don't have systems in place. They don't have a tangible goal in place. They don't have routines and habits in place to get them where they want to go. And when you're thinking about being a fit person, it's not something you can do overnight. You might get skinny. You might be able to take a pill and get skinny or whatever. But to be truly fit in your body, there's so many different areas to work on. You might be really strong in your legs, but your arms need work. Or you might need your core to have some work. Or you might have a pulled muscle. Or you might have a herniated disc or whatever. And there's so many things in our bodies that could go wrong that we could be focusing on. Some of us are better naturally equipped to be in shape. Some of us have better genetics or whatever, but if you don't figure out a unique plan for you that works for you to get into the shape that you want to be in, it's just a wish. You're just going to wish that you're in good shape, and you're never going to get there. But if you have an I've had it moment and you say, I can't let myself get this overweight or out of shape because I want to be there for my kid's graduation. Now you've added some purpose behind your ambition. You've added some purpose behind your intention. And if you've lost somebody from being overweight, that makes it a lot easier. I don't want to be that way because my so and so didn't get to come to my wedding or whatever. And as you determine some of these things that really get you a visceral response, oh my goodness, these things make me, this is why I'm doing weddings. I need weddings and I love weddings because of these reasons, or I need to pay off debt and weddings are a great way to do that. It's different for every different person. And in the fitness world, you might be 6'10", you might be 5'1". There's a difference in everybody's shape and form. Fitness is different to different people too. You might want to become a runner and have a long, lean body. You might want to become a bodybuilder or a swimmer or a tennis player or a golfer. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do to be fit in your business. And each person can determine what a fit business looks like. And I think that the internet has made it so difficult for us to focus on what we really want because everybody is shoving it down our throats, saying this is what you need to be successful. I'm going to help try to clear that out for you and help you focus on what do you need to be fit for you? What does that mean to you even? And why do you even care about being fit in your business? Then we're going to walk through a strategy for you so that you can build something consistent, a consistent system in your life to be fit. You know, in the fitness scenario, that might be hiring a trainer. You might want to hire me to mentor you or find someone else to mentor you. You might want to join a group class or one of my mastermind groups that I'll be putting out. You might want to just look up videos on the internet and use podcasts like this. It just depends on the intensity and how fast you want to get fit. That will determine a lot of what you do. And then I want to walk you through this and say, to get to the fitness level that you want to be at, do you want to be charging $20,000 for wedding films and you're at $2,000 right now? You're not going to wake up tomorrow and be charging $2,000 or $20,000. You might get lucky on one or two, but to actually have that level of fitness in your business, you're going to have to put in some work for some time. You might have to hit the gym for 5 years to get to that point. And I want to show you those tools. I'm not here to just give you, some motivational speaking and grow a big audience just to have people pat me on the back and say I'm an educator of the biggest platform of whatever. I honestly am here, even if my audience gets smaller, that's fine with me because I want to work with people that get it and get that they need the trainer, they need the plan, they need the system, and they want that shot in the arm and they want something consistent because they're tired of where they are. So if that's you, and you're tired of where you're at, you're trying to figure things out, you've come to the right place. I have built my six-figure business so many different times in so many different ways. I added photo last year, and it's added that extra another 6 figures to the business. And I'm sorry I keep saying 6 figures. I sound like a douche, but I'm not trying to. But I'm very passionate about this, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. And there's a couple of things just before we sign out for today I just want to let you know I'm working on. I've got a new website at john-bunn.com. I'm thinking about getting a different URL to point towards it, but all of my education is just going to be basically at john-bunn.com. Johnbunn.com was taken, and I think it was like $8,000 for me to buy it, which I didn't think was a smart move yet. Maybe if this podcast grows, I'll buy that. But john-bunn.com. Is where everything is at. I'll be uploading these videos to YouTube and my Instagram accounts. I've got 2 different accounts that I want you to follow. The first one is just my name, at John Bunn, with an underscore at the end. That's going to be where I'm going to put a lot of my educational content, clips from this show, things like that. And then my wedding work is John Bunn Films. I want to keep those separate because I don't want the algorithm to be like trying to show educational stuff to brides that are following me. And I'm using that account as a tool and I just don't want to mess that up. And so those are the 2 accounts, and then john-bunn.com. And before signing off today and kind of leading forward with this new chapter, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to Nick And thank you to the How to Film Weddings listeners. Thank you to all the new listeners that are jumping in here as I shift focus myself. And a huge thank you. I've got 7 sponsors just starting out the show that have come along with me. And I just want to say thank you to each one of them individually. brideandgroom.video, I've already mentioned them on the podcast. A CRM that signed up to be a sponsor with me, Lemley, Lemlii, a great group of guys running a platform for wedding professionals, a CRM where you can have your contracts, different things like that. Music Bed came alongside me. They've been alongside me since the beginning. Thank you guys so much. Imagine.ai, I've made some posts about them recently, but they edit all my photos and they're editing all my video color. They use AI tools, and it's amazing. Wonderlust Videos just signed on with me. They did a teaser for me recently. I just posted it on the John Bunn Instagram account. It's amazing. I had no changes. Honestly, kind of blown away with Wonderlust. And then another CRM became a good friend of mine, and I'm actually using them for all of my contracts for this new channel, Inly, INLY. Thank you guys so much for signing up. And last but not least, our friends at Story Mix Media came over from the How to Film Weddings. If you're looking for an affordable option for outsourcing your wedding films, I would strongly check out Story Mix Media. They do a great job, but they also are at a price point for some of you beginners out there that are looking to get into some outsourcing. So those people already, those 7 sponsors, I've got a few more that want in. I'm going to try not to bombard you guys with ads, but if you need any of these services, help support me by supporting them. This is education. People might think, oh, you're, just raking it in. That's not necessarily the case. The goal for me, I love making money doing stuff, but the goal for me is I want to give back to the community. If I didn't get paid at all, I would still do this. I really would. I wouldn't be able to do it as much as I'm able to do this. So the sponsors allow me to do that, but we've got everything, all the sponsors over at john-bunn.com. There's a link in the middle of the page that just says sponsors, and you can click any of those for right now, and it'll take you straight to a page all about them. There's different promos and things like that. So last but not least, I'm asking a favor. If you're still listening to this podcast right now, will you please go over to @JohnBunn_ at the end, just rolls off the tongue, on Instagram, and just send me a quick message saying that you listened to the first episode. I want to see who's listening. And if you have any feedback for me on what you would want in this episode, it would mean the world. So literally, if you're listening to this, please do me the favor of heading over to John Bunn on Instagram and sending me a DM. I'll try to respond to every single person and just say that you listened to the show. Let me know what you think. So anywho, that's all I have for today. I said anywho because I'm almost 41 now and I'm a dad. So words like that are going to come out of me from time to time. I was nervous to record this and excited at the same time. So many things are changing. This is just the beginning. So as I grow and progress, stay here for the journey. I would love for you to be here for all of it. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.